Hey everyone, my name is Brian, and the question that we're going to be talking about today is time travel really possible? So we've seen we've seen it in urban legends, we've seen the celebrities that appear to have been time travelers, we've seen it in media, in movies like Back to the Future, but are these legends and media sources actually telling the truth, and is time travel actually possible? Well, just to tell you the short answer, time travel is not possible. It's just impossible to travel back in time or into the future unless there's really special circumstances, such as having an object with infinite mass or negative density. Currently, time travel is just a whole series of ideas and theories with no scientific backing. There hasn't been sufficient technology that has been created to time travel. But however, this phenomenon known as time dilation is possible, which is similar to time travel. And so basically, time dilation is a difference in the elapsed time measured by two observers, and the factors that affect time dilation are gravity and velocity. So a higher gravity will affect time dilation, and this was shown in the movie Interstellar. They do a really good job of explaining this that was backed by real science. And another thing that affects time dilation is velocity. So basically, the faster someone goes, the slower time will pass for them. And there's a really famous experiment or theory where it refers to two twins. One twin travels into space at the speed of light and comes back a certain point, and by the time he comes back, his other twin would have aged a lot more than he has, just because of how fast he was traveling. Time dilation is a proven thing. There have been experiments on it, but it likely won't be seen in the close future because of just like the obstacles blocking us from achieving this. For gravity, it's really hard to find a planet with a lot more gravity than Earth, and getting there was going to be really challenging. For velocity, traveling at the speed of light is really hard. The fastest a human has ever traveled is 24,961 kilometers per hour, which is only 0.0037% of the speed of light. So time traveling is a really interesting issue in society, as the media has it in its constant presence, and urban legends keep it alive. So I talked to 3 physics teachers here in Lincoln High School to get more information about this topic, and this is that interview.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So you can slow down your time relative to somebody else's time, although you would know the difference.
So
you wouldn't know the difference, though.
it would seem the same to you. Say you got into a spaceship going super fast across the solar system. You would feel like, say you felt like it took you 10 months to get to Mars. Well, I guess less if you're going that fast. But anyway, at home, more time would have gone by.
Yeah.
When you come back, come back,
and you would notice it when you came back.
You know, old men, and you'll still be a young man.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Your process has changed relative to theirs is different.
And
right?
And this is not science fiction. That is proven. They haven't done it with a person, but they have definitely sent clocks into space. Sent them, even the GPS clocks.
Yeah, that's different. That's gravitational, though. But that proven science is based on half-lives of certain particles. Half-life. That means they disintegrate. But the disintegration rate changes when they're moving really fast. That's how they know.
Oh.
It didn't last that.
So that's why we know it's proven.
So I didn't understand what's going on.
The GPS clocks are different. They have been taken into account that they're further out from the Earth than we are. So because of gravity differences, that's another thing that affects time is gravity.
But that gets to time travel a little bit because isn't the theory?
You can slow it down, but
So actually talk about that a little bit more. How does gravity affect the passage of time or the rate of time or the relativity?
That goes back to the idea that time-space is all one. It's all connected, time and space. You can't they will go hand in hand, everything. So you cannot affect space without affecting time and time without affecting space. And gravity, as gravity will make a change in that part of space and time.
It will warp.
It will warp it. It'll affect it. The stronger the gravity, the more it'll affect time-space in that region. Okay? All right?
Okay.
So therefore, since gravity is different from here on Earth and as when out in space where it's further away from the Earth, then the time is different also because it's in a different gravitational part of space.
So the clocks on satellites
have to be adjusted
because they aren't the same as the clocks on Earth. They're not synchronized.
Right.
Because they run more slowly.
They run. Let's see.
In a weaker gravitational
faster.
field.
They run faster. They're further. The stronger the gravity, you slow down time.
Okay.
Slower the time.
Stronger the gravity.
Okay?
So.
Because you warp the space, therefore you change the time also. And that's proven too, because that's why there are people out there working on the clocks to make sure to make the adjustments.
Wasn't there's kind of a famous story of the military was involved, U.S. military was involved in the first GPS satellites, and the scientists working on it knew that there would be this relativistic effect, that the clocks, and GPS works based on time. It's like, how long does that signal take to get here? How long does that signal? And it sorts out your position based on the 3 different times, right? So the scientists and engineers knew that there would be this effect, that the clocks would be moving too slowly and they wouldn't be able to tell position. It would be off by a little bit.
Really little.
But there was a U.S. Army general or Air Force general or someone that was overseeing the whole project, a military guy, and not to pick on the military guy, but he didn't have the science background. And they were trying to convince him of it, and he was like incredulous. He thought, there's no way that's true. And so the compromise was they launched it without the adjustments turned on. And within a day or two, the measurements were so far off that they proved to him that the clocks were running more slowly because they were further away from Earth's the center of the Earth. So then they updated the software and they fixed it.
So they launched the clocks into space?
They launched the satellites, the GPS satellites, which run basically their clocks and transmitters, and they basically all they really do is they transmit the time. And so, like, say you're on your phone is able to get a signal from multiple satellites at the same time, telling it what time it is, and then based on the delay in that signal, the hardware they calculate your position, the distance from those 3 places, and once you know the distance from 3 places, you can triangulate one point in space.
Just like we locate earthquakes.
So they can actually tell where your phone can actually tell where it is on the planet as long as it can hear the radio signal from 3 of those satellites at one moment in time. But if the clock was off on any of those satellites, then it would confuse your device and thinking you're in a different place than you actually are.
Sense.
Okay.
Anyway, that's only a difference in the way time continues, right? But you cannot go backwards in time. You can only change the process so that for different reasons, time would go by at different rates with
You can slow down time.
You can't really slow it down.
But you can't reverse it. Well, you could
experience it.
Things are different. That's all. Okay. Things will have a different process, time of process in terms of this process getting older. Okay. But you can't go back. That's an impossibility at this point.
Okay.
Now there are really crazy theories about how there are parts in space, time, that you can put a they call wormholes, where there's parts where you can actually, do that. But that's
Travel
that's all
from
it
one
is.
time space to another
There's
time
all
space.
kinds of stuff out there, but it's really not science.
It's impossible to travel back.
As far as we know.
There's no. It's not.
Or not yet,
The
not
theory's not based on solid science. It's just
There's-
like
Math.
Not close.
spitballing.
Not close.
Yeah.
That's based on a lot of stuff that the scientists have come up with, which they're trying to find out more about, study more, but it's nothing substantial.
So
About
the
going
only
back in time.
way to alter time is to travel at the speed of light or gravity.
Travel close to the speed of light, and you're not really changing anything. That you're going at that speed. It's just a relative to somebody else somewhere else in space, far away or going at a different speed.
Yeah.
The process is different. You can't really alter it. Okay. Because your reality is how fast is your reality. Okay. Okay.
Your reality is
You
unchanged.
can't affect anybody else's reality either.
Okay.
There's no effect of anybody's reality. It's just that you go in parallel paths in terms of time.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's all.
So that's the closest thing you can get to time travel.
That's not even close.
the
Because
clo-
there's no time travel involved.
It's not really.
No, time
'cause-
travel. It's
Because
not.
the faster you go, you experience time slower.
Differently, right,
everyone, right?
Well,
So, but the faster you get to speed of light, the effect gets more and more and more. And I think right now the limit, they're saying that you can't pass the speed of light, right?
Mhm.
it's like
So
a universal.
If you
speed
were to
limit.
pass the speed of light, wouldn't that be the time travel piece? Because
Even then, what does that mean when you travel at the speed of light, though?
Well, isn't all relativity based on the
That- well,
assumption that their speed of light is
the
a
special
universal
relativity.
universal
Special
right, so you kind of made
constant?
that by making that assumption, we're assuming we can time travel. Is that kind of what?
Well, once you say that you can go faster than the speed of light, then all that goes out the door in terms of, what it's
Everything.
useful for. And what it's useful for. It's only useful for the fact that, you're traveling close to the speed of light, not beyond.
Right.
We don't know what's beyond. We don't know how to even calculate for beyond.
So there could be a beyond. Ooh, that's deep.
There could be, but if there was, there's no other Einstein out there coming up with some way of telling what will happen.
What about,
So we all don't know.
what about a Jowl telling us that?
I can tell you I don't know. I'm good at that.
Well, that's a certain kind of intelligence as well.
Meta.
Doesn't take a genius to know what they don't know, but
Wait, so what's the closest that we've gotten to traveling to the speed of light?
I don't know. That's a fair question. Turn a light bulb on?
Us as a human?
Yeah.
No,
Did you
Not
know
even
that?
not even close.
Not even.
But a lot of particles, subatomic particles, do travel very close to the speed of light.
Subatomic particles?
Yeah.
What exactly?
All the
does-
time.
Smaller than atoms.
Smaller than an atom. They're just bombarding the Earth. Well, I could say bombarding, but they do come through.
And you know how they know that? Based on
Quantum.
conservation of momentum. When those particles run into things that we know the speed and mass of, then they measure the.
Yeah.
So that's what those actually that's what those linear accelerator labs are all about, right?
They test them, right?
You know that Stanford Linear Accelerator Lab that you cross over on, what is it, 280 on the way down
Right.
to Palo Alto? That's a mile-long, basically photon cannon or some kind
Yeah,
of
some-
subatomic particle cannon they launch. They're trying to hit a particle that they've got suspended.
Smash it.
They're trying to smash them into each other, and they can detect things about the mass of things, or if they can get a subatomic particle from space to run into something, they can measure the speed and mass of what it's run into. They can measure the momentum of the thing it's collided with, and they can use that to figure out the speed of the thing that hit it,
Okay.
which is pretty crazy.
Crazy stuff.
I guess I'll just run down my list of questions I need to ask.
Sorry to disappoint you that we can't go back in time. That's what we do.
Wait, what is your project about?
I'm just researching time travel.
He's
So
gonna-
I guess the essential question I had was, is time travel possible? I guess no.
Well,
You can say
not based on any current reasonable theory.
You can say that all of our math is based on the fact that C is the highest.
The
speed you
assumption,
can go.
yeah.
You assume that this is the fastest you can go.
And even if we go and see the speed of light, doesn't necessarily mean that we can go back in time.
No, it just means that what we
It
thought
just
we knew,
means
we don't
something
know.
So what happened?
So
All that.
since we assume that, then we also assume that we can time travel. But if that assumption was wrong, then that could mean it could be possible. Is that what it's saying?
Anything possible.
Right. We don't know if it's impossible.
Yeah.
If you can go past the speed of light, time travel may be possible.
Like,
Oh wow.
I don't know.
Maybe.
But basically, the reason we say we can't go back in time is because we said this is the limit. You can't go faster than this.
Okay.
But if we can, isn't that
I'm not sure if that's a true statement.
I'm not seeing the connection. Yeah.
I don't think there's connections between that and that.
I think the
The limit of the speed of light does not necessarily affect which direction time goes, because we haven't ever figured out how do you even go, the direction of time. There is no process for that.
There's something in time direction there, I think.
the arrow of time.
Yeah.
It only points one way.
Was it anything useful or?
I didn't get that. I didn't look at it yet. I think that if you wanted to speculate like crazy stuff, I think that what Mr. Zhao had talked about, what they call the space-time sort of fabric, is this idea that space and time are related.
Yeah.
That there's like that's another dimension of this. We have these 3 dimensions of space, and the 4th dimension is time. That they're related, and if you can distort with gravity, you can distort space. It's also distorting time, which is like, again, proven. That's real science. So like if you were to travel very close to something that has incredible gravity, like a black hole,
Getting like flashbacks right now.
you would feel like time went by normal, but everyone else would think that you were experiencing time go by really, they would relative to them that they would be have experienced time slowly. So I'm talking about if you went near something with great gravity, like a black hole.
Black hole.
So you might be like, oh, I went and checked out this black hole in my spaceship, and I was there for 20 minutes, came home, and everyone aged 10 years.
Like Interstellar. Like
Yeah. So that's actually based on, as Mr. Zhao said, that's based on real, proven science. Now the idea that and that's like a big like divot in the space-time, mesh fabric. And the really kind of crazy talk. Thanks. Oh, yeah. The kind of wild assumption from there, and you also said this, is that perhaps if this space-time fabric, if you can change the shape of it, then what's to keep you from overlapping it? Yeah. What's to keep you from saying, well, here's a place in space and time, here's another place in space and time, and what if this fabric could be folded in half? Or what if
some geometrically way of
distorting? Then would it be possible to step from one time and space to another time and space? And that there's no other than kind of taking this analogy of time space as being a fabric that can be, and there's some analogies. Again, there's a famous video online. This physics teacher in Los Gatos does this space-time fabric where he uses this big piece of lycra and a tube, and he puts a big mass in the middle and he rolls these balls around, and it kind of simulates. No, we're good. Other than that, like, there's not real accepted science that supports that idea. It's just wild speculation. It might be true, but much of what Einstein predicted is proven to be true. Like, he didn't just wildly speculate. Some of his things were a little bit wilder than others, but he said, like, this is this is my theories, and I have the math to back it up. And most of the things that he said, it took years, but eventually they were able to prove by testing somehow in a lab that he was correct. So the theory or theoretical physics is not the same as lab physics, experimental physics. But often the experimental people will put something out there and they'll say it looks like the math means that this should happen, but doesn't mean it will happen. So then they have to kind of prove it with an experiment in a lab. And so Einstein's ideas have been proven many, many, many times over, or most of them at least. But that idea of time travel, he never put that out there. And people that have just said, like, hey, if this and this and this and this, maybe time travel is possible. So there's nothing to even really test at this point.
So Einstein never brought up time travel? He just
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't think think so.
None of his theory had to do with time travel. So
But I think your essential question is answerable. It's just not.
not the answer you want.
It's not the answer that maybe you. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you can still have something interesting to talk about if you have to share these ideas. I think that most people are really blown away by the idea of the time dilation. It's called like the idea that time passes by more or faster or slower depending on your speed
And gravity.
and gravity. I think that is fascinating, and most people don't understand that, including, like I said, the general overseeing the GPS project didn't get it.
That's called time dilation.
Time dilate. Well, so that's special relativity, right? Or
That's special relativity.
Yeah.
And then the gravity part is general.
There's also length dilation, right? Is that contraction? Yeah, the Lorenz. Yeah. Who asked you?
I read this thing online. It said this person could build like this. I don't know if it's credible, but it involves something with infinite density. So if something had infinite density, would it be possible to time travel?
Right, that's a theory. Infinite density. What does that really mean?
I don't really know what that means.
Infinite density means
Well, infinite density or infinite mass, I guess, means an infinite amount of gravity.
Yeah, a black hole is the closest thing. Because it has infinite gravity. Well, it doesn't have any mass at all, but it's something that causes a black hole. But near infinite density. That's as close as you can get. What causes a black hole? You know, if you have a mass that's like the collapse of the star, and it's like huge mass with a tiny little space. That's, you know, that's about as close as you can get to a real thing that is.
And that happens. That really happens. And I assume that we could assume that if you were to get near a black hole,
Right.
that you would experience time dilation.
You would, right.
Because of the gravitational effects.
Right.
So that same thing would happen like.
But the limit is you would stop time for yourself.
Right. So infinite.
go
That's what
back.
that's what I was going to say. So infinite. The idea of infinite density, according to current theory, would just mean infinite. Oh no, sorry.
I mean,
Stopped
stop
time.
time.
It means your
That means
time for you is no longer moving forward. I suppose it would feel like it was.
You wouldn't know any better.
Of course, we don't know the health effects of being that close to
You could never do it. Of course.
a black hole.
Yeah, it's impossible. But
So is like a black hole just like
theoretically
something with a lot of gravity?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Huge.
take a star, a big star, and then when stars end their lives, some stars go
Collapse.
supernova, right? And they fall in on themselves. Basically just collapse, yeah. And when they do, all the mass of that star, it's still there, but it's occupying a much smaller space. So the density skyrockets, which means the gravity super increases, which kind of accelerates the process. Or at least that's the way I understand it, right?
Well, yeah, you have almost infinite gravity is what you call it.
Yeah.
Infinite gravity means that everything is, time will stand still.
So that a black hole can affect stuff all around it, and they call it a black hole because it even keeps light from exiting, right?
Light cannot escape it. Yeah, but that's all. This is just all just an idea, not real. It's not practical. There's no practicality to it. It's saying that there's infinite density in anything. But you get that far, then you get into stuff beyond how the universe began. What's caused it all to happen, and there's so many theories on that you don't want to get into.
Yeah.
But go beyond that, you get delving into stuff that nobody really, can.
People can't agree on.
Yeah, you can't put a finger on it. Just a bunch of ideas. This idea, nothing else.
Once there's like of proposed and of like the world of science, there's if it's not it's like strongly agreed upon, then it's not really accepted as real. It doesn't mean it can't someday be proven, but so there's lots of ideas out there that even scientists throw out there as ideas.
They throw a lot of ideas.
Yeah, and because they're creative thinkers, but much anything having to do with time travel, I think you could say at this point, is not based on any known
proven.
science. Not only not proven, but not even like Einstein proposed things that weren't proven, but he showed the math. He showed like, hey, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, mathematical.
As we get near the speed of light, this is what's going to happen. As we get closer or further away from a large gravity well, this is what's going to happen. He didn't go test it because he didn't have the equipment. Now they do, and he was right.
Right.
But that wasn't a wild hair. That was theoretical physics at its best, you know. Time travel's not been proposed, you know, by any valid
physics to support it.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, there are things like string theory, which they have tried to propose different things to support it, and so something in there, you know, you might find something. I don't know. That's
String theory?
Get into string theory.
Given that things like string theory, string theory itself has support. They have tried to use mathematical support for that too, to try to come
Are
up
they
with
there?
something.
They're not there yet, though, right?
Well, they have something, but it's not nothing you can test really. You know, but there are things such as that. There may be other things that may get to that point where you can't talk about it. At this point, you can't even talk about it within the universe. That's it. That's it. It's all just, you know, ideas in your head.
Fun ideas, though.
Yeah.
It keeps science fiction writers in business.
Yeah. Exactly. Then you have from there you have to get into the other world, that is the non-physical world. Then you can talk about time travel.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's where we bow out.
No, you just change your hat. You change your hat from the science teacher hat to like the comic book lover hat.
Yes, exactly.
And then you're back in.
Anyways,
Yeah, well, thank you for
have
your
fun with that.
contributions.
Always fun to think about.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time. I'll let you guys know when I make the time machine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let me know. Well, we'll know because all of a sudden you'll be winning the lottery and
I'll time travel to this
picking
moment,
the right horses.
I'll tell you guys.
They're doing faster computing now, so they did one thing. They were able to take particles, have them scattered, and then somehow they were able to come back to its original formation, which is like time travel, because according to entropy, that can never happen on its own. But the fact it did for no obvious reason, then that's likened to time travel. Because just like time, entropy only is one.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed that interview with the physics teachers at Lincoln. I really learned a lot from them, and just hearing them talk about physics was super interesting for me. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast, and I hope you stay tuned for more facts about time travel and other alternatives for time travel, such as cryonics, which we will cover in the next episode. Thank you.